Just recently I did a video about my new Sig Sauer Legion. Now in that video I talked about whether it's worth the extra money, whether the features of the gun make it worth that extra $320 on the MSRP. In the video I pretty much said it's mostly gimmick. The differences that are there are nice if you like them, but they're not worth the extra money they charge for them. And a lot of people came back to me and said, yeah, but you didn't talk about the trigger, and the trigger is the biggest difference. Like, this has some sort of gray trigger or something, some special, someone blessed it and made it perfect. I don't know what happened. But they're like, it's so much better than all the other triggers. They said that alone justifies the cost difference. But is it actually different than the other triggers? I mean, here's a stainless elite gun, and it actually costs less than this gun. It's all stainless steel, has pretty much all the same physical features except for an undercut and some stippling, and it costs less than this gun. And like I say, it's all stainless steel with wood grips. So what are you paying for with this gun? Is the trigger that much different? Well, today I thought I would test all these triggers and see if there's a big difference. This standard Sig P229 has the standard trigger with the standard reset. The Sig Legion has the SRT trigger, but it's like a special SRT trigger supposedly. And the Elite Stainless just has the regular SRT trigger. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is test the trigger weights on all three guns, both in single action and double action. I'm going to take 3 readings of each, take the average of those 3 readings. First, we'll do the Stainless Elite. Get it right where my finger would be on the trigger. And the average of 3 pulls is right at 11 pounds in double action. Now we'll do the Legion. Came out right at 11 pounds also. So the average for 3 pulls on that one was pretty much identical to the Stainless Elite. Now we'll do the regular trigger on the standard P229. The average of 3 pulls was 10 pounds, 15.5 ounces. A half an ounce difference off of the other two, a half an ounce lighter. That's hardly a measurable difference. They all are pretty much the same. Now we'll test the single action of all 3 guns. Average was 4 pounds and 6.8 ounces on the Sig Stainless Elite. Now for the Legion. The single action on the Legion with 4 pulls was 4 pounds, 11.4 ounces. So a difference of, about 4.6. Now the standard trigger. The standard trigger also came to an average of 4 pounds, 6.8 ounces, just like the Stainless Elite gun did. So as you can see, trigger pull on them double action, pretty much identical. Single action, very close. This one has a slight edge and this one has a slight edge. This one's actually the heaviest, but I will have to say I've shot this one the least. I've shot this one a little bit more, so that might account for it being a little bit lighter, but not really much of a difference there. And I haven't really shot this one a lot more. My Sig P229 is not my gun of choice at the range, so I don't shoot it a lot. I'm usually shooting my 226 or my 220. So the difference between this gun and this gun is probably only a few hundred rounds. And this one, I hardly ever shoot at all. I got it more as a collector's item than I did an actual shooter. It's kind of heavy, so I don't shoot it much at all. Now, as far as the reset on the triggers go, these two are exactly the same, so I'm only going to show you this one. I don't need to show you both of these because the reset, trust me, on both of them, exactly the same. Okay, this is a bit of an awkward angle here, but let's look at the reset on the Legion first. Did you hear that there? Almost no reset at all. It barely moves for the reset. And it's like that on the Stainless Elite also. The Sig reset triggers, the Sig short reset trigger, has very little movement in the reset. As you can see, the trigger is barely forward at all, and it takes almost no effort to fire again. Now let's look at the standard Sig trigger. As you can see there's quite a bit more movement. It's still not a lot of movement, but it's quite a bit more than the Legion or the Stainless Elite. Now the trigger doesn't end up that much farther forward when it's back in its position to fire, and takes no more effort to fire it. It just takes a little bit longer to reset. So I guess a lot of it would come down to whether you want that really short reset. A lot of people don't like that really short reset, especially if you're a revolver shooter. That makes it like a hair trigger on the second round. And when you're going from double action to single action, a lot of people don't want that huge change in trigger travel. So some people might not like that. Now some people, that's what they want. They want that. They want to barely be able to move their finger to fire. I personally, kind of indifferent about it. I wouldn't make my decision based up on that trigger travel. I'm a revolver shooter, so I instinctively move my finger a little more when I fire, so the short reset really doesn't do much for me. And believe me, I am a little bit conscious of that, firing unintentionally a second round because of that short travel and light trigger after that first pull. So I do realize that is an issue. So if you're someone who thinks that's an issue and you really don't care about the short reset, this trigger would be better for you. If you want the short reset, this trigger would be better for you. But is it worth that extra money, that extra $320 for this gun? Not really, because you can get this gun with this trigger for like $50 more, and it even have the beaver tail, etc. You can get the Elite model. It's $50 more to have the short reset trigger and pretty much functionally all the features that this gun has. So as you can see, trigger-wise, there just isn't that big of a difference performance-wise. It all comes down to whether you like the short reset trigger of these guns or the full reset trigger of this one. And you have to remember, you can get the short reset trigger on the cheaper gun by getting the Elite model, and you only pay like an MSRP difference of $50. You don't have to pay that $320 difference that you would get with the Legion. So is the SRT trigger better than the regular trigger? Well, if you like a shorter reset, it is. But that's about the only difference, is that shorter reset. And as far as the SRT trigger in the Legion being so much better than the regular SRT trigger, I just don't see it. The facts don't support it. I don't care who rubbed it against their crotch and made it magical or whatever they did to it. It just isn't really that noticeably different than the regular SRT trigger, and isn't even that much different than the standard trigger. So in the end, I'm going to have to say most of the cost difference, once again, for the Sig Legion is gimmick. It's mostly marketing. It's people wanting to be part of an exclusive club or just being a fanboy of Sig. If you're buying your guns based solely on performance, there's not really much reason to buy the Legion unless you absolutely like the special little features. Performance-wise, it's not much different. But as you can see, I own all three, so obviously there's far more reasons to buy a gun than performance alone. You ain't even my real dad.